Okay, so this is gonna be a little bit of a different type of video, right? And basically the video is about why I believe that you should always build Liandry's and Riftmaker in every single Ahri build that you do, because these two items are just simply broken, and in my opinion Riftmaker and Liandry's is the main reason why a Rod of Ages is overpowered. And a lot of people think it's Rod of Ages that makes Rod of Ages overpowered, right? But that's why I say I think it's not Rod of Ages, but Liandry's and Riftmaker. Obviously not gonna say that Rod of Ages is a bad item. Rod of Ages is, like, of course, a very good item, right? But I'm just saying, main reason why that item or build is so OP is because of Liandry's and Riftmaker. I'm gonna try, like, I will try to prove it, okay? That's why I do this video. So basically, obviously, let's talk first about the items, right? Liandry's and Riftmaker. The items are basically, they give you a lot of health, right? So you get way more tanky. And the entire idea is, especially like with Rod of Ages, right? The entire idea is to, like, get insanely tanky, right? And because you reach a certain amount of tankiness, you are able to do certain playstyles that you weren't allowed to do before with, like, a glass cannon build, right? Because the more tanky you are, the less risk there is. For example, if you just, like, you know, dash into 3 enemies, right? And then you just, like, use a Q through all 3 enemies, right? Like, let's say, like this, right? This is very low risk if you have a lot of tankiness. Because you just know, sure, they will hit you, but you will never die. And because of that, you can always play in teamfights in a way that you hit multiple people, right? And so you do a lot of damage to them. Right? So the entire idea is to, like, not one-shot with these items, but more like AoE damage people, right? That's, like, the best optimal use from a build like Rod of Ages, right? With Liandry's and Riftmaker, of course. And in that sense, the build is extremely overpowered, right? And a lot of people probably think that, yeah, that gives you more value than, like, for example, single target damage with a glass cannon build, right? Now the thing is, it's probably even worse than you imagined, because the glass cannon build is failing at everything it's supposed to do. I will show you why. So, anyways, just like wanted to explain the difference between the two builds, of course, right? So, you can obviously stack the passes, right? See? And these passes, like these two passes, they basically are damage increase, right? Like Horizon. But it's, like, very easy to basically, like, stack this, right? You just have to, like, stay in a fight. If you, like, get hit by an ability, it refreshes. If you hit someone with an ability, it refreshes, right? If you have Liandry's on someone, it keeps refreshing. Like, for example, if I do this, see, now it keeps refreshing. So it's, like, very easy to keep these passes alive in a team fight. And now I'm just, like, here to, like, I'm stacking it, obviously, right? I'm trying to, like, show you the damage output that you will have when you have these passes stacked on a single target. So we just write the leftover health in the chat, right? And now we know the damage output. So it's 1217, right? Now here's the kicker. I think with Shadow Flame, by the way, we will do a little bit more damage. Let's do this first, okay? This one, in my opinion, was, before I went Liandry's Riftmaker, was one of my favorite Ahri builds when I play damage Ahri. Because you need some amount of ability haste, in my opinion, to snowball, right? And it's, like, very important to snowball also with a damage build, because if you don't snowball, you have massive handicap, right, in the late game. Because you need to be ahead and whatever, and fat, to pull off snowball builds, right? So you need haste. And these items, like these 3 items, even with, like, Blackfire Torch, of course, they have a very good synergy. Let's just say it like that. They kind of fix the weaknesses, Ahri, because, like, your ultimate reliant champion, right? So let's hit the enemy champion, the dummy, again, right? So I did less damage. But if I remember correctly, this build is 200 gold cheaper than Riftmaker and Liandry's. Because Horizon is a 2-7 item, right? This is 3-1, which is 400 gold, and Lichbane is 3-2 item. and this is a free item. So 400 minus 200 is 200 gold difference, right? So this build did a little bit less damage, around 30, but it's also like 200 gold cheaper. So what we can say is basically it's the same damage output, which is still hilariously bad because you lose 650 health, right? And you lose AoE potential, right? Because if I hit a Q through 3 people with this build, I probably do less damage, right? This is 330. I will probably do less damage than with this build, especially if this is stacked. Let's try it. It's probably way less damage, right? Yeah, see? And keep in mind, this is a 1000 health target dummy. Like, if you watch, this one has 50 MR, right? This is 0. Look at the burn on this one and on this one. 11, 24, right? So basically, like, this is way more accurate for an ADC, 50 MR, 3000, right? This is extremely inaccurate, 0 MR, 1000. But basically, you get more damage from Liandry's the more health they have in comparison to, like, MR, right? Like, even on a Bruiser, this one is, like, Bruiser setup, 3570 MR, right? And it's 24, 25, see? 26. So, basically, it's very likely that despite the MR increase, the more, like, because, like, you know this in game, right? Like, bruisers have around this health and this MR, except they go into MR items, but usually they don't. And ADCs have around this health late game and this MR, maybe a little bit less, right? But overall, you can say Liandry's gives you more damage the more tanky they get, right? And if they get too much ML, obviously you will go wild stuff, right? Which is like pump up your Liandry's damage again. I'm just trying to explain. So basically, you do a lot more damage with Liandry's, right? Compared to like poke damage, right? Compared to like this build, which is a huge disadvantage, right? So this build doesn't really give you more burst on a single target, doesn't really give you AoE damage increase, right? And makes you insanely more squishy in the game, right? Which means it's like way more risky to play also, right? Like one mistake, you instantly die. So a lot of disadvantages already, right, for this build. But I mean, sure, I took Horizon, like, let's take Shadow Flame. And then see again. And now it's 1182. Did I do everything correctly? I actually expected a bit more damage. Maybe I should try this again. Did I actually do this correctly? I think I did. I thought it's more. That's actually bad. That is worse than I thought it is. Okay, I did it correctly. So this is my Liandry's damage, this is my Horizon damage, this is my Shadow Flame damage, right? So 1182. And now this build is 300 more gold expensive. Okay. So if we like remove 300 gold now, you probably can say it's the same damage again. So it's the same damage again, and you once again do way less poke damage. Your burst hasn't really increased. Now you lose even the ability haste advantage, right? And this is why I personally, this is why, yeah, like see, this is why I go this build, because I did this calculation before. This is one of the biggest reasons why I, even before I went Liandry's build, I never went Shadow Flame with Lichbane and Malignance, because I knew Horizon, Lichbane and Malignance or BFD is superior, right? Because of the increased ability haste, and you don't really lose a lot of damage. Like, I would lose a little bit, right? So I lose like 60, but I get 25 more haste, right? That was my idea before I went Liandry's and Rod of Ages. Because that's why I said, like, this is the best damage build I can pull off. Like, burst damage build, I have to go with, right? So, anyways, again, right? Absolute zero gain in burst. You lose all the health. You get no haste bonus anymore, right? And I wanted to say something else and I forgot. But again, right? Like, let's just not stall this out for too long. The thing is, you don't get an advantage if you go these type of builds, right? So until 3 items, especially, you have absolute 0 advantage with like damage builds over these 2 items, right? There's only disadvantages. And yeah, you will most like a lot, like majority of games are 3 item games, right? In my opinion. So until 3 items, just disadvantage. Now, is this gonna change eventually with like a death cap and whatever? I'm not sure anymore. I think it doesn't. I think with Shadow Flame it does, but with Horizon it doesn't, right? So this is 626. But there's another problem, and I will talk about it very soon. I just like wanna do fast damage tests. Oops, I fucked up. Yeah, see, there's absolutely 0 difference. I mean, there's a little bit of difference, right? But the it's just like not enough, right? It's like 50 damage difference now. Plus 1 more gold expensive, right, over this build. But the thing is also, right, the more items you have, the more your damage is in general, right? Like, that's the thing. And that's like one of the main reasons what I hate about Glass Cannon. Because like now I do 2400 damage, right? With an EQW when I have these items. 2400 damage. On a target that has ML, that has like 50 ML and 3000 health, right? So this is like a level 18 80 carry. So the chance that I will just straight up kill him, like one-shot him, with these items is extremely high, right? Because I do a dash. That's another 300 damage, right? Then I can press Ignite. Or I just like do one more W or something right after, right? Or Liandra's damage, you know, like, you know, I like wait a second or something, or do a second dash again, right? And Liandra's damage procs again, and he just dies, right? So that's like one problem. And if I go damage, right? If I go this one, for example, does my but like my EQW, does it change anything? Absolutely not. It does 50 more damage, right? But the 50 more damage doesn't do anything for me, right? It's the same combo. Even with this build, I have to EQW, air ignite most likely to one-shot the AD carry, right? So everything is the exact same again, right? And so I just lose health. And so there's not really an advantage. Now I think with Shadow Flame, I do a little bit more damage. It's 4 more damage. Which is also not good enough. Now I know this sounds troll, but it's 4 full items, right? Now I'm even more handicapped. I have no haste, basically, right? The entire game long I had to play with low haste, low tankiness. And my EQW is still not even close to one-shot AD carry in the late game. So what is happening? I have to do the exact same combo to kill the AD carry, which is like dashing. Maybe there's a world where in some scenarios EQW and the dash straight up kills him, right? And with the other builds it doesn't. And with the other builds I need 2 dashes, or I ignite, or I need AD carry to get like 200 damage from a different source, right? But this is still not good enough to like ever say, okay, I will go this over the other playstyle. And that's why these items just lower Ahri's win rate. That's my point. And the craziest thing is, once you have an item set up like this is like my new favorite carry build. It looks kind of strange, right? But you have like basically your 3 core items, right? This can be Rod of Ages, BFT, whatever you wanna build. These are your 2 core items. You go Magic Pen Boots also in majority of games. That's what I do. And then if you wanna carry and you say you need damage, you go to F cap and you go Shadow Flame. And the reason why you do this is because once you have these items, you do enough damage to one-shot an AD carry with EQW. Because now I do above 3000 health, right? And you have to remember, this looks like very close, right? But it's not close. Because in the game, you still get more AP, right? You get like some AP from flowers, right? And then you get AP most likely from maybe from Baron buff, or you get AP from the elixir, right? Like elixir alone pushes me from like 630 to 707, right? Because it's like 50 AP or something, and then empowered by death cap is like another 20 or something, right? So with the elixir alone, right, I will do just easily enough damage to like one shot an 80 carry now on paper, right? See, my damage is like 3,300, which is a lot, right? So that's the thing. So you have maybe potentially a slight advantage if a glass cannon build at 4 items. Not counted the boots, right? It's like 5 items. Sure, we can say 5 items or 4 items, whatever. You have maybe a very, very slight advantage. But until this point, you only have disadvantages. At the moment you have 6 items basically, your slight advantage is gone again. And I would even say your slight advantage that you had is a disadvantage again. Because now, again, on both builds, you're able to do the exact same thing. But now here you're just more tanky. And you have a lot more like playstyles, right? Because like, again, nothing is stopping me. For example, after I have, you know, if I have like passive stacks or whatever, even if I don't have them stacked, nothing says I can't just do this. And just like apply Lianos spawn on every target, right? Hit my Q on 3 targets at once and Lianos spawn again takes over, right? Like it's just like, it only has advantages, you know? And this is like, I always keep saying, well, they have to make a decision and they have to say, like Riot on the Balance team, they need to like say, like ask themselves the question, is the Understand Riftmaker way too strong for an item in the game? Or are items like Shadow Flame and Death Cap way too weak? Or is it both? Are they too strong? Are they too weak? Probably I would say both, right? Like in my opinion, Riftmaker and Lianos is definitely too strong. And in my opinion also, items like Death Cap, Shadow Flame, whatever, they are too weak. They are not able to give you what you want, like to like let you do what you want. Like look at my Lianos damage, by the way. This is 4,307, right? 4,307. And then I use 1 Q through 3 people late game, right? Look at the damage I get as a bonus now. But it's not 100% fair, right? I should add some ML, right? Let's add a little bit more. Let's say this is a tank or whatever. Let's say this is a Bruce or something, right? Then let's do like this. Let's make it a bit fair, right? This maybe is way more fair in game, right? So 4996. 1 Q for 3 people. So I almost did 500 bonus damage. With the item. And this 500 bonus damage is applied on every spell, right? I do an E, I mean, not 500 bonus damage, right? It's like 500 times 3, so it's like 200 or something, right? I do an E, and I get like 200 bonus damage, right? I do a W, I get like almost 200 bonus damage, right? Because that's how it works. And then also like on my dash, just also like I dash on 3 people, this is another 500 bonus damage, right? If I dash again on 3 people, another 500 bonus damage. You get the idea? Like, obviously, there's gonna be situations like you can't always do this, but you can do this, right? And that's the thing. The chance, like, just the part that you have the chance to do this, that you can adjust your playstyle according to the situations in the game, and be able to do this is a huge advantage, right? While with Glass Cannon you can't do this. And there's a lot of games, like, in my opinion, there's gonna be a lot of games where you should probably do this, right? And you might win an entire team fight. While with glass cannon build, you will probably lose. Like, let's say your team is struggling, right? And you have teammates, they don't really know how to engage. And you have also teammates, they are not able to, like, do enough damage. And you're like, okay, it's like 40 minutes in the game or 35 minutes in the game. We need to win that next fight. And we lack damage, whatever, right? Enemies are always, like, making it out as a close team fight, whatever. I will just send it. I will just go in full force and die for it, worst case scenario. But my entire goal is to just, like, massively put out damage. Nothing is gonna stop you if you, like, wanna do that. Nothing will stop you doing this. Are you going to die? Probably. Are you able to like pull this off though and do insane amounts of damage on multiple enemy targets, right? Are you able to do that also? Also probably, right? Probably, like, pretty sure that you're able to do it if you, like, really committed to doing it, right? So that's basically why RIFTMAKER and Liandry's are cool, in my opinion. That's why I think everybody should build it. And I think that's, like, one of the main reasons why RIFTMAKER's build has higher win rate than builds like Malignance. Because if you go on, like, stats pages, when people go into Malignance or Blackfire Torch as well, right, or Ludens, they don't build RIFTMAKER and they don't build Liandry's. In some games they do build Malignance and Liandry's, but they don't build RIFTMAKER. And we have seen that Liandry's and RIFTMAKER, these items in your inventory, right, if you build them, it doesn't matter if you have Malignance or Rod of Ages, they won't lose you damage over items like Shadow Flame or Lichbane or Horizon, right? So you can only win and gain if you build these, regardless what your starter item is, right? Regardless if you say you wanna go death cap in this game, right? Which means there's no point in not building these items. Because you will just get less tanky and you will get more handicapped in playstyles and you won't even do more damage in a lot of situations. Right. And so yeah, that's why I wanted to make this video. I felt like I should talk about it, right? Because why wouldn't I? Yeah, hopefully people like the video as per usual, right? And as I said, it's a different type of video, so it might be a little bit boring, but I mean, I personally think like I should talk about this, right? Because if I think like I'm right, and I think like a lot of people don't even realize this, then me as a YouTuber should maybe, you know, like talk about it and explain the reasons why I think, yeah, people should maybe reconsider their builds or something, you know, or choices, whatever. So anyways, video is done. So thanks for watching, goodbye.